They was driving down the Dan Ryan, just past downtown when the storm hit. Hank and Wilhelmina Smithback and their teenage daughter Lily, heading home from Wisconsin in a dim afternoon light, panicked seeing their surroundings completely vanish behind gray, crashing rain. Hank, a runt of a man, his small hands on the wheel, felt fate grab control of his Ford Fairlane hurling through the mist, felt it lurch as he jerked his boot off the gas pedal, as he searched out lane markers, the feeble tail lights of the lead car, his every muscle braced for the inevitable rear ending. Wilhelmina, sitting next to him, muttered, "Oh dear." Jerky hand patting her beehive, cat glasses flashing, overwhelmed by the windshield splatter, the violent drumming on roof and hood, her husband's fear. And Lily, pale, gawky, beak of a nose poking through wavy parted hair, hearing loud hissing tires, turned in time to see out her back window a zag of lightning strike the white rabbit ears of Sears Tower, stabbing into the blackish pea soup sky. Further up, in fact well past Comiskey Park, they ground to a splashing halt as flare-wielding workers in bright rain slickers and monster trucks with wild flashing lights waved all traffic off the flooded expressway and up a steep exit ramp into a strange tangle of neighborhood streets. Now, stopped dead in traffic, jammed by idling cars and bleeding horns, poised to enter the black cave of a flooded viaduct blocked by a stalled car with water up to the headlights. The Smithbacks retreated into the hushed confines of their upholstered den, behind dripping windows that had steamed completely over. "We won't be seeing Fort Wayne any time before dark," Wilhelmina said, worried Hank's back might spasm. "But where the hell are we?" Hank cried over the whooshing dashboard fan, rubbing his fist on the milky windshield. There was absolutely no way out-of-towners like the Smithbacks could know of the pent-up anger of some residents of this Southside neighborhood and others across the city over the Martin Luther King Civil Rights Group getting beaten up by neo-Nazis and others attending last week's White Power rally in Marquette Park. Hank figured Chicago lawless anyway, robberies, murders, what have you, based on newscasts he'd heard back home over the Chicago radio station that broadcast Cubs games and farm reports. "Daddy," Lily wriggled, "I've got to pee," clamping her rolled-up comic book between her bare thighs in summer shorts. She'd never known her father without his full head of premature gray hair and thought him youthful. "You'll just have to hold it, love. You see, your father can't budge," Wilhelmina said, half glancing over her shoulder to see Lily's rough outline in the back seat. "Crack your window a bit, will you, dear, please?" Wilhelmina cooed to calm Hank, sniffing the close, dampy funk. Fumes from the idling cars rushed in as he cranked down his driver's window an inch and a half, and Lily, seeing in the gap a hanging stop-and-go light jumping and swaying on black wires in the crazy wind, felt her ears pop from the change in pressure. She glanced straight ahead, between the upright trunks and heads of her parents, transfixed by the flapping wipers. Something flickered in the surrounding brake lights bleeding through the steaming windows. She heard commotion. "Look," she mumbled, swiping her forearm across the cold, rain-pimpled glass, tapped her finger, pointing, confused as to why all these black people were out in the rain, wandering between the cars. Blurry heads passing at eye level, she took to be children. Then all seemed to go quiet. All movement beyond the gray windows ceased. A shadow fell across her father's window. The tip of the double gun barrel, two gaping nostrils, the circumference of nickels, clattered in the open slot inches from her father's temple. Gripping the wheel, he didn't react or even seem to notice. In the surreal split second, Lily snarled, showing teeth, her tongue poised to explode off the roof of her mouth, to form the D in dad, and probably, if there had been time, duck, but there was no time. The shotgun flashed, a glaring photo booth strobe, exploding even before the gunman completed his crazed and haunting, "Market Park, motherfucker!" The roar ripped off the top of her father's head, spraying red juice across the white ceiling, splooking chunks across dash and windshield, showering Wilhelmina in a hot mist that breathed across Lily's bare skin. Head smoking, he toppled sideways, as if surrendering to a nap in his wife's lap, burnt hair and flesh fizzing the air. Lily Smithback was still screaming into her hands, gagging and about to heave, when the Good Samaritan, a tall, gaunt, no-nonsense man with a red startled face from the car directly behind the fare lane, ripped open her rear door and yanked her by the crook of the arm to stand wobbly on sandaled feet in icy ankle-deep water, rushing, a smoke signal puffing above the car as he did so, while her mother, stunned, staring, sat with the warm, soggy melon of her husband's exploded head in the lap of her saturated, flowered sundress. Thank you.
All right.